Hi, this is Women's Virtue, and today is December 5th, 2020. What we're going to talk about today is a few more examples of women, and these are women who were born, who were created in fornication. So we're going to go back to in Deuteronomy 22:2, where it says, "A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to its 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord." There's different things about how the parents' decisions impact the child, and again, anybody can repent with Jesus Christ, and those type of curses can be, shall we say, wiped out and turned into blessings if people make different choices and call on Jesus and live differently. So these are stories of women who were not protected by their parents, or they were not taught properly, or they just chose to do what they wanted to do. And these women I'm going to talk about now are probably all in their 80s. And so I'm going to really be talking about their daughters. So the first one got pregnant when probably she was 18 or 19. So she was young, got pregnant out of wedlock, had to get married, and had her daughter. And both the mother and the father, the mother didn't know how to say no, or chose not to say no, or wanted the guy to like her, or the guy pressured her. I don't know the circumstances, but they created this child who did not ask to be created. And we'll call this daughter, I'll call her Tina. So Tina was created and always kind of hated by her parents because they saw her as the thing that had ruined their life. Now, it was their own decisions, and they were deeply embarrassed. And, anyway, so she ended up, when she was about, let's say, 6 or 7, she had a cousin who was playing doctor, who wanted to play doctor with her, a boy cousin. And her mother walked in and saw them and started calling the daughter, or just beat her. She beat her, so she was black and blue. And thinking, so this mother, as to my knowledge, has never repented for her fornication, is still married to the father, but this child was always in their mind like a punishment or embarrassment. And this girl, who was severely beaten for something that she's completely innocent at the time, went on to have 3 husbands, all of who, well, actually, the first and the third beat her. The third beat her so severely that he was punching her in the face. Her second husband, she thought, was okay. It turns out she had a job where she traveled, and her second husband, she found out much later, had sodomized her 3 sons when she was gone. So you just see like this just horrible, just beaten up, unhealthy, not sure what's going on. And there was no, at any time, someone can turn their life around with Christ and repenting. But you can see that the mother's decision to fornicate had this terrible impact, and the mother decision to never repent has impacted generations, and it's been very harsh. We're on to our next person. I'll call this Mary. Mary was also conceived in fornication out of wedlock. Parents got married, and was this is one of my least favorite types of mothers. This mother, of course, the mother and father both blamed the daughter. Sometimes if it's a son, because the son in a more worldly way can go on to achieve and make money. Sometimes there's less trauma on the son by the parents, even though he still suffers. But the daughter just blamed for her father never being able to achieve his business heights he was supposed to, and the mother, blaming, and they ended up having 4 daughters. And the couple they're still alive and still married, but this mother, the unrepentant fornicatress mother, is one of the worst mothers you can get, because there's just, I don't know if it's like demonic, but this woman, Mary, there was a guy pursuing her, and she felt uncomfortable with him. She was in high school. He was older than she was. And she told her mother, "I don't really want to spend time with him." And the mother said, you need to give this person a chance. You need to give him a chance. And the mother had the guy come over and put the mother and the daughter in the basement. I mean, sorry, the daughter and the older guy in the basement to watch a movie, and then just didn't check on them. And the guy raped the girl in her own house. And she ended up getting married to somebody who beat her. She ended up being raped by, some people say it can't happen, but being forced and raped by her husband. She was raped a few more times. And all the time, she's still a desperate girl wanting to please her parents. And at one point, she had, I think it was her 13 or 14-year-old sister, was going out with guys and climbing in the window at 2 a.m. And she said to her mom, so my sister's out with guys. She's only 13. And the mother said, I don't care. So when you get these unrepentant, fornicating, I would say, demon influenced mothers, not only did they bring their children into terrible circumstances, and not only are they mean to their daughters, they actually intentionally put their daughters in situations to get their daughters defiled. Like, they can't stand the purity of their daughter. They can't stand that this child has not been, fornicated or been harmed, and they will actually encourage it and promote it and turn a blind eye to it, because they almost want to blacken their innocent daughters' hearts so that it matches mommy. Third woman I'm going to talk about, again, parents fornicated. I don't know if she was created out of fornication. However, her mother promoted her fornication, and from a young girl, she remembers constantly feeling like she had to find the guy to fornicate with to get, and no protection from the mother. Occasionally, if somebody found out about something this daughter did, then the parents would put on a show to sort of look like they were embarrassed by it, but there was never any encouraging of virtue. And it's absolutely heartbreaking, because these girls, we already talked about how they're out in society with, if they don't have internal virtue, that they can get gobbled up and harmed in so many ways. But when you have an unrepentant fornicatress mother who is inviting people towards the daughter to harm her, it really bothers me. And just so you know, a lot of these women will go to church every week. They might be leading Bible studies. They might be teaching Sunday school. So you can't, some of these things are just external trappings. But I know a handful of mothers who are very protective with their daughters, who are good, and that's wonderful. And some of these women had fornicated, but they have repented. So it's not, again, what you've done in the past, you can change at any time. But if you've grown up with a cruel mother, or a mother who's never repented, it's hard. It's hard. And I encourage you to read the book of Ruth, because that's a good example of it's a mother-in-law towards a daughter. But also read Jesus, read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and see how Jesus was towards women. Thank you for listening.